Hello, everybody. Today, our group, which is me, Wilson, and Richard, we're going to do about rights of living in Syria. So first, let's talk about the background. Firstly, we will talk about Syria, the country where this is taking place. Syria is a country in Western Asia, bordering Lebanon to the southwest, the Mediterranean Sea to the west, Turkey to the north, Iraq to the east, Jordan to the south, and Israel to the southwest. The country has been in a civil war since 2011 till now. It is being ruled by a president slash a dictator named Bashar al-Assad. He and his reign has committed several crimes against humanity, and most important of all is he has committed the rights of life. And here's a picture of Syria right now. It's a war-torn country. And about the rights of life that we just mentioned is in the Article 3 of the Human Rights. And it said that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood, which means everybody is equal and you should treat them with the kindness of your heart. And in rights of life violations, there are small things, and here are a few that were listed by the UN. Of course, there might be more, but here are just a few notable ones. First is unlawful killing, which means killing of civilians, people who are not involved in the war. Torture, arbitrary arrest, which means mass arrest or arrest without real reason. Military deployment in densely populated area. Carpet shelling, which similar to carpet bombing, but instead of using bomb, they use like artillery to bomb to places and cause civilian deaths. Collective punishment for a large group of people. Forced disappearance, which is like its name, you were forced to disappear. Wide-scale and systematic destruction and looting of property. Essential supplies denials, which mean civilians and people are denied from taking supplies that are going to keep them alive, like food and water. And lastly, medical treatment denials. So, Richard now going to talk about results from the lack of human rights, especially the lack of rights of life that we just said.
So the the right of life is very important for people. One of the testimonies that we have researched about, her name is Wat Al-Katab, and she is a Syrian journalist, filmmaker, and activist. Her documentary For Sama in 2019 was nominated for four four prizes at the 70th birthday British Academy Film Awards, winning for the best documentary about Syria. Her pen's name, Al-Katab, is used to protect her family because she is being hunted down by the Syrian.
بحلب مدينتي.
She said that
video.
لسه عم صور. هذا الشيء اللي عم بيخلي معنا لوجودي. ما حدا منا كان عنده أي فكرة كيف رح تتغير حياتنا للأبد. حمزة أنا حامل.
سما
سما عملت هالفيلم مشانك. بدي إياك تفهمي شو اللي كنا عم نقاتل مشانه.
طلبك كثير أكثر من
أصلا في ضرب كتير اليوم. سما أنا بعرف إنك عم تفهمي شو عم بصير، بقدر أشوف هالشي بعيونك. ما عم تبكي مثل أي طفل عادي. هذا الشي اللي عم يحرق لي قلبي. سما رح تسامحيني؟
Alright, and next is about the 2015 European migrant crisis.
Following up is the migrant crisis was part of the pattern of the increased migration to Europe from other continents which began in the mid 20th century. The United Nations observed that from 2015 January to March 2016, among 1.2 million immigrants, refugees, 46.7% of the immigrants are Syrians, and that is a very big problem. Next, we're going to talk about the obstacles in solving the human rights problems.
Alright, I separate this into two group, which is one is about the Syrian government and one is about about Syria as a country, because the actions of the government may not reflect how the country wants it to be. So first, I'm going to talk about about the government. So first, the government is still have an ongoing conflict with rebels, and nothing can be changed in a country which is still at war, which can be observed throughout history. And secondly, Syria show very big sign of unwillingness to cooperate with the UN in order to solve its human rights problem, because like one article that I read, the UN wanted to put a supervision group in Syria in order to make sure that the human rights are still being respected, but the Syria declined that, probably out of fear. Also, about the country and itself, um, the obstacle of actually doing something great is about the infrastructures too. Nothing can be done in a war-torn country, like I just mentioned before. You can't build a hospital for 5 years just to get it bombed after one night. So insufficient infrastructures is one problem, and withstanding infrastructures, it is overcapacity. It's about there are about 24 million people who need help. With 4.7 millions of them are immigrants, and about 20 million people who are stuck in the country. To make matters even dire, there are reports of brutality towards humanitarian workers, which is workers who are trying to help Syrian people, like the Red Cross and non-government organization. They got beat up by the Syrian soldiers. So, what can be done to help?
So there are a lot of ways we could help with the situation in the Syrian civil war, especially the violation rights of life. Number one, we could talk about sanctions, because sanction is really good at reducing the government's capacity to exchange between neighboring countries, such as goods and things that benefits for the government. But it is also the least effective due to the Syrian civil war. Now we have a second step. It's called the military intervention. It is very good in short terms by battling out and destroy and possibly overthrow the current Syrian government. But the bad thing is it has a massive disruption in the civilian lives. and it could be the same as the old government because it cannot justify the intervention. Last, but probably one of the best ideas that we have is that cooperation. It might needs it might requires a lot of effort, but the peace deal will progress, the people's life conditions will be improved, and no government can be harmed in the process. Also, people's life will tremendously be better for the greater good. Also, Syria might cooperate with UN in the near future, and that's our plan for cooperations.
Right. And that's sum up for our presentation. And here are some references that we read the most. And thanks for watching.